And welcome back, everybody, to another Tuesday night. It is our second Tuesday in October, and so I have to give a big shout out to Peter Gregg. Happy birthday! His birthday was yesterday, so if any of you know Peter, you might give him a shout that he loves to be recognized on his birthday. So happy birthday, Peter Gregg! So today we went, as many of you know, I have been watching my grandson all week. And today we went to the pumpkin patch. His school had a field trip day. And so we went to the pumpkin patch, then we went to the park. But something that continually awes me is when people find out I do YouTube, they are like, they think I'm somebody famous or something. And it's so easy to do. And there are so many venues. There is something for everybody. Literally, there is something for everybody on YouTube. It is such a vast array of difference, right? Which I really kind of like. They're having some issues where my daughter is, and she's in Washington or Oregon, Washington, I think. And they're having some political things going on up there. And when she was right, of course, she's my daughter. She was right in the middle of everything. And, they had armed guards, and it's just, and she filmed what was actually happening there. And it is so misunderstood, because she sent me the video. And I'm like, it's just a bunch of kind of strange people out there having fun. It was kind of not the same lines of Mardi Gras. There wasn't the amount of drinking involved, but it was kind of along the lines of what New Orleans does with Mardi Gras. It was just kind of everybody was having fun. They were dressed up in costumes. They had all these bubble blower things going on, and everyone was having just a really good time. Everyone was getting along. And yet there's all these armed guards along the roof, up on the roof. So it kind of reinforced how I'm coming around full circle. Okay, my brain is a scary place, but it kind of reinforced that YouTube has something for everybody. You had all these different people. I think they were in Seattle. If she comes on, she may correct me, but you have all these completely different people, and everybody's getting along. And that's kind of how YouTube is. You have some haters. You're gonna have haters everywhere, but for the most part, YouTubers are really nice people, and everybody gets along really well. So tonight I just kind of want to let everybody know how easy this is. And if you have a phone, you can go on YouTube. You can be a YouTuber. There's no mystery behind it. There's no magic behind it. If you have anything that will take a video. And so I'm going to kind of go over some things, but let's say hi, because I know I tend to ramble, and some people have already made it in. And Scott made it in. Yay! It's Tuesday and Scott's here. I can't believe I made it awake, right? It's only 9 o'clock. Now, Scott, are you on my time? Or are you an hour later? That may be why you get so sleepy, because it comes on at 10 o'clock, and heaven forbid. Scott says, I hear you, Randall. He can hear him from Texas. Scott says, not boring, just bedtime. And Randy's saying, hello, everyone. Scott's from up north, Randy's from down south. And Randy's talking to Scott, saying, that's okay. I've been known to make it at the start and wake up at the end. I did that today. Apparently all the festivities today completely wore me out. And I don't normally snore unless I am exhausted. And I woke myself up in my chair snoring. Yeah. So apparently I was really tired. I am not used to chasing after a 6-year-old. For days on end. Okay, usually we get 3 days at the most, and tomorrow will be today is day 7, so I did have a 2-day break, but Yeah, so it's tiring Granny out. Scott's saying, happy birthday, Peter. You gonna sing Sly? No. No, we want people to come in, not push them out, okay? And Hal is saying, hi all. Hello, Hal. How are you? How is the weather? And Hal is way over there in Florida. Okay, Scott says, hour later here. So, as always, when I babysit little man for very long, I get a cold every single time. If I keep him more than a day or two, I get a cold. Don't ask me why, but it happens every time. So guess what? I have another cold. But we're not going to let it deter us. We're going to forge on. Okay. So now I think everybody in here, well, Scott's not on YouTube, but he has the knowledge. He could be. He has the capabilities to be. He just isn't. But Randy has a channel. Hal, do you have a channel? I don't know if you do or not. That's an oversight on my part. I should know that. But if you have a phone, so apparently a lot of people come and watch this after the fact. So that's kind of who I'm targeting this for. Because I want the mystique and the mystery taken away from it. Because there's no mystery about it. Okay? If you have a phone, you can record a video. You can go on YouTube. Now, I say it's that easy, and it is, okay? The quality may not be the best, depending on what you're recording and how far the phone is away from you, okay? So there's 2 super stupid cheap microphones, and I guess you do need a computer, yeah. And I didn't even think about this. If you're doing like this, where you're in a studio type thing, you can get by with just a $25 microphone. That's all I'm using. And it plugs directly into the computer. Actually, my computer doesn't have enough ports. Sorry, one moment, please. My nose is like constantly running. I feel like a faucet. Just call me Delta. It'll be better, I promise. But you do have to have a computer. But you can plug a USB microphone into said computer. So you don't have to have, when I first started out, I went the expensive camera route. I went, and I say expensive, it's all relative, because cameras have gotten ridiculously expensive lately, but I had 2 DSLRs. At one point I had 3 cameras set up. So I'd have all these different angles. I had an interface, a sound interface, and I had XLR microphones and all the cables and everything that went with all that. Okay, thousands of dollars of equipment. And you don't need it. Okay? I got rid of all of that stuff. I had an ATEM machine. Yeah, you don't need all that stuff. Now you do need a way to, well, you can just record. If you want to go live, you do need a platform. But there are free platforms out there. Now, and I'm old and I don't learn things very well. And so for me, Ecamm was the easiest, but it's kind of pricey. But there's StreamYard and there's what's that other one, fellas, that is that's free? And you use a PC with it. Can't think of the name of it. But anyway, there are free platforms out there that you can stream. Okay. Now, some of them may have a little icon way somewhere down in the corner or something. Who cares? It's not that big a deal. As long as your video quality is good and your audio quality is good, you're in like Flynn. Because somebody is going to want to hear the content that you make. Somebody somewhere. And probably more than one somebody. You might get a dozen somebodies. You might get 1,000 somebodies. Depending on what the content is. But I promise you, somebody will tune in. Even if they're just bored and channel surfing, somebody will tune in. Did I say Scott's an hour later here? Okay, so it's 10. And thank you, Randy. Please give a like. Yes, please give a like. It just touches that button and lets YouTube know that, hey, maybe we should keep showing her stuff. I don't know. And Hal said, yes. And there's Carlos. Hey, Sly. Hey, everybody. Now, if you guys do hear a lot of noise in the background, little man is still here. And my son has come over to play with him so that I could join you guys. And sometimes when boys get together, they get a little bit rambunctious. So if you hear a body being slammed against a door or something, think nothing of it. Everything is fine. It's just the boys being boys. Carlos says, you don't even need a computer. If you're using your phone, you can stream directly from it. See, there you go. So I don't and never have streamed from my phone, but Carlos brings up a really good point. You just need your phone. You can I might have to try that one of these nights. So I do have a couple of very inexpensive. Okay, so if you're going to use your phone, obviously there is no USB jack on a phone. Okay, so you can't use the little $25 mic. So a couple of 3-4 years ago, I got these Ulanzi, let me just show you. These Ulanzi J12, which they have a single version and a double. I would always get the double just because it's not that much more expensive. And if you are like recording with somebody, you can mic them up as well. Do not ever mic up a 3-year-old. Okay? I speak from experience. Just telling you. Okay. And some adults, you really have to be selective on who you mic up. Some people don't need a mic. You can hear them just fine off your mic. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway, I always get the double just in case. And if one were to crap out, I would have a spare. So now these are $40 and they plug directly into your phone. Okay. Now with the case on it, you know what? I changed cases. So I am just curious to see. It will. Now that I have a smaller case on it, it will plug directly into the phone. Before I had a thick case and I had to use a extender, but now they will plug directly in there. Since I got these, Ulanzi has come out with a newer version. And this one I do have to use an adapter for with my phone. Now, some of my cameras I do not. Or I can just use where'd my little cable go? I can just use one of these little TRS cables to TRS and plug in the side of the microphone and, well, no, I can't plug that in. So I would have to have an adapter, which I do have, to go from USB-C to the Lightning. But I do have that, so not a big deal. But this just plugs in your phone. And then you have these cute little, let me go back here. These cute little, now I got the white set. They come with a cover so that you can make it black. I mean, basically black. It's still, you can still see the white a little bit, but it's basically, you know, if you put it on a black shirt, it's basically black, right? These are the newer version, and I think they sound a little bit better. And they're the same price. So if it was me, I would probably get the newer version if I had to do this all over again. But for $40, they sound really, really good, and they work great with your phone or camera. They also sound pretty good with the camera. Now, so, okay, so you're starting out on a budget. You got your phone, you got your $40 microphone. But you say, Sly, I kind of want to step my game up just a little bit. I want that sound to be the best it can be. Okay. it gets a little more complicated, but not much. I went through several. Trust me, I have been through so many microphones. It's not even funny. And I still have most of them. Some of them I've sold, but I still have most of them. So this is the one I've settled on now. It's the DJI Mic Mini. Because like the Ulanzi, I'll just show you size comparison here. Okay, now this one obviously has a wind muff on it, but you can take that off pretty easy. So, DJI is slightly smaller. Not a lot. Not enough to make a difference. You put that on, it looks almost the same as if you put this on. Where's my magnet? There we go. Not enough difference, you know. These are ridiculously on sale right now because DJI just came out with a new version. Now, what I do on all my microphones is I buy like this if you get the whole set, it only comes in black. And so I bought a separate white transmitter, and so I just keep a black and white one in there all the time. So, depending on what color shirt I'm wearing, if I'm wearing something dark, I might want a black one. If I'm wearing something really light, I might want a white one. Just something to kind of make it blend in a little better. But these are on sale right now for $99 for the whole set. And these will connect via Bluetooth to your phone. Now, when I first got them, I didn't like the way they sounded on the phone. And I'll tell you why I got these particular ones. Because I now shoot with a DJI camera. And so, as soon as I turn the camera on, if the microphone is on, it pairs instantly. So it's like you don't have to do anything. You just push a button, the camera comes on, and the mic comes on. It's stupid easy, okay? And that's what I like. I like things that are easy. Now, I don't mind. Excuse me. Hang on one second. We're gonna get through this. I don't mind setting things up once, or even twice, or setting it up to where you have to try, 4 or 5 times to get it to where you want it, as long as you're seeing improvements. But I don't want to set something up every single time I hit record. Okay. And so with the DJI, I don't have to do that. But it will pair to your phone. And I have not tried it, to be honest with you. There we go. Maybe I can do this. But yes, right now they are on sale for $99 because they just came out with a DJI Mic 3. Which is still, I think it's about the form factor of the Mic Mini, but now it does a whole lot more stuff, and it's, the $300 and something price tag. And so I'm going to stay with the Mic Mini until the Mic 3 gets a lot cheaper. So it'll be when the Mic 4 comes out, then I'll probably get a Mic 3. That's just how I roll. And where did I leave off? Randy, OBS. Thank you, Randy. Yes, with OBS you can stream from a PC. Now, I have never mastered OBS. I haven't really tried that hard, to be honest with you, because I just Ecamm is so easy that once you do the free trial, it's so intuitive. I didn't want to switch. I didn't want to try to learn something else. And Roy made it in. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. Got a little bit of a cold, so if I'm coughing and hacking, just ignore me, and we're just going to keep going. Okay, so you don't want to use your phone. But you don't really think of yourself as a photographer yet? Well, I hate to tell you, but you kind of are if you have a camera. That's just the definition of the term. But you want to think, okay, I'll kind of get my feet wet. I just want to point and shoot. Okay. Now, point and shoots have gotten ridiculously expensive. Like, Seriously. And they're good for what they are. My son has one that zooms out like 40x, and I bought it brand new, and I think I paid, it was less than $400. Those days are gone. You can't find cameras like that anymore. But a point and shoot does have its place because the lens retracts when it's off, and so you can like put it in really tight places. And when you, and like, he loves his because he takes it traveling with him, and he goes to Colorado a lot, and he can zoom. That thing has an amazing amount of zoom on it, and he can zoom and get the shot. Now, his camera doesn't do very good video. The Z1, ZV1, it's Sony. I don't like how Sony names their cameras at all. Okay, not thrilled with how Panasonic does either. You should just, I don't know, give them names. I don't know, make it simple. But this ZV1 and ZE10 and ZE1 and all this, it's just too confusing. Okay, you should just name your cameras, right? But anyway, this is a fantastic camera. Personally, and this is just my preference, apparently the rest of the world thinks differently, and that's okay. We're all different. This screen pops out to the side. Okay? Nothing drives me crazier than to have someone make an entire video and the entire time be talking over here. The whole video. Because they're watching themselves. Drives me nuts. I like my cameras. Do I have one? Yes. I like my cameras to tilt up. Okay? So, this is not a point and shoot. It is an interchangeable lens camera, but it has it on top. Now, if you get this far enough away from you, it doesn't look like you're looking up. It looks like you're looking at the lens. So, I don't know. That's just kind of why I like these. But what I have, like I said, at one time I had 3 cameras set up. It was Grand Central Station in here. You couldn't walk through the room without tripping over a tripod. And so when I moved, I wanted to clear all that mess up. I have a 6-year-old who was 5 at the time. 4. He was actually 4 when I moved up here. And he has 1 speed, and it's fast. And I didn't want all these tripods set up where he could trip over them, right? So I kind of minimized my system. I got rid of the 3 cameras. I narrowed it down to just 1 camera. And even that, I tried putting on the desk. But when you do, as soon as you touch the desk or you hit the desk, everything vibrates. And so I didn't like that. So then I went from, what was the next evolution? Oh, I think the Osbots. So now that's all I'm using is these 2 itty bitty bitty teeny tiny cameras. They don't take tripods. You can put them on a tripod if you want to, but you don't have to have a tripod. All you have to do is have one of those little magic arms, and they work just fine. And they're $129 a piece. So, whereas you may not be able to afford an $800 camera, you probably can afford a $129 camera. Now, can you take it with you? No, you can't. So, a studio setup is slightly different. It's a whole lot easier, but it's all doable. And so, maybe you set your studio up and then you use your phone for the next year to make videos out and about. And then guess what? You're just like me. You can do everything I can do. What is it? You can do everything I can do, only better. So there. Carlos says, open YouTube on your phone and press go live. See how easy that is? Now, it'd be my luck I would do it when I'm in my pajamas. But, that's just how we roll. Roy says, do you think the extra for the DJI over the Alonzi is worth it? Oh, the 23% upcharge? Yes. I do. Because of the Bluetooth capability. If I had a choice between holding my phone, so basically, no, it doesn't have the wind in my phone anymore, but so basically it's got a little magnet thing. Let me turn that off so we don't have microphones competing for space. So it has a little microphone. As soon as you take it out of its case, it turns itself on. You just, can't do anything about that. But my necklace is a magnet, and so it just clips on. So, and now it'll connect via Bluetooth to my phone. The Ulanzi, you have to plug it in. Depending on which one you get, you have to have an adapter. But it's not that problematic. And if you like to feel like you're doing something, the sound quality, unless you compare them side by side, which I have done, you're not going to, like, I made a test video where I recorded all on the Ulanzi and I recorded all on the DJI, and then in Final Cut Pro I put them together, and I would do like the soundtrack from the Ulanzi and the soundtrack from the DJI and go back and forth for like 7 minutes, okay? Just to see if I could hear a noticeable difference. Can you hear a difference? Yes. If you're comparing them side by side, if you made a whole video with the Ulanzi, no one would say, oh, the DJI sounds so much better, because it doesn't. So for me, the advantage of the DJI over the Ulanzi is the Bluetooth capability. And I can go from anything that has Bluetooth, including the computer. So if I wanted to record this on the DJI, I think I can. Now, the plug-in mic obviously beats everything. But had I done the entire live stream on the DJI, my regulars probably would have known the difference, because the overhead mic does sound head and shoulders above anything that's this little, okay? But if you compare more apples to apples, little to little, you really can't tell a difference. So I have both of them. To answer your question, Roy, I have both of them. So yeah, if you could only afford one, you're probably going to go with the Ulanzi because it's cheaper. Apparently it's 23% cheaper. But I do think the DJI has more, like, it has noise cancellation, and it just has a few features that maybe the Ulanzi doesn't have. But for me, it's that Bluetooth thing. If you can hook it up via Bluetooth, that's a winner chicken dinner for me. Let me figure out how to put this little windscreen back on, because you know what, guys? I'll lose it. I lost this little guy for months. And then one day I just randomly found it. It happens a lot around this house. And it seems like the older I get, the more it happens. But, that's okay. Okay, so my next step up was... It wasn't a step up. Okay, my next evolution was I started getting on the water a lot because I'm a water dog. And so I ended up getting several of these things. Lost one in the river. Some of you guys might remember that. So a long time ago. But this is the original Osmo Action, which it's an action camera. No big deal. It does not have Bluetooth. Okay, that is one of the drawbacks. The internal mic is not bad. If you're around water, then just deal with it, because when you take the housing off to put a microphone to connect a microphone, which you have to have an adapter, which I don't know where mine is. I have 2 of them. But when you take this off, the camera's no longer waterproof. So if you're, around water, you want to leave that on there. I let my grandson film with these. They're indestructible. I mean, so far, he hasn't been able to hurt him yet. And let me tell you, they've gone swimming by, not like when we're fishing at a pond and he wants to film it. And then he drops it in the pond, and then Granny has to go in the pond to retrieve it. Yeah. So they have been through a little bit. But I will say, I never, ever, ever, ever had a problem with these overheating. And I would have these on a kayak for 6 hours at a time in the bright sunlight, and when it's hot, because I don't like to kayak when it's cold. And they never overheated. They would stop because I had changed the battery. The newer ones do tend to overheat. So there's a trade-off, but you can pick these things up for $100. The Action 4, which this is the 5, but the 4 looks exactly the same. In fact, I think I have one on here. The Action 4 you can pick up right now for $229. Now, you have to buy the cage separate. It comes with a plastic cage similar to this. I think this is a PGY Tech. Yeah, this is an aftermarket cage too, because DJI cages kind of suck. But this is a metal cage, which, yeah, it adds a little bit of weight. But for $229, when this camera is, I think this one is 900, and the new version of this is $950. So there again, why wouldn't you get the new version? That just doesn't make any sense. But oh, you all can't see that. Never mind. Anyway, the ZV, here we go. Okay. I don't know why it's not like switching, but it's not. The ZV1, the original one, is $898, and the ZV1 Mark II is $948. So why wouldn't you get the newer one for $50? That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But why wouldn't you just get? It's the 4. The 4, I think, is the one that is. I've got too many cameras sitting up here, guys. $229. Just saying. Now, it doesn't have a screen that flips up or out or anything. It's got a little screen right there. So, but you're not supposed to look at that anyway. You're supposed to be looking at the lens right here. So, that is kind of how I have evolved to where I am today. I wish I could go back and tell my 5 or 6 year younger self, don't spend all that money on camera gear. All you need is this. But you kind of have to go through the evolution thing. Now, then there's hobbyists that like to buy every camera known to man. Randy. Oh, did I say that out loud? Randy loves cameras. And so you may be like Randy. Randy has his own channel and he makes hundreds of videos. He has his own channel. He loves cameras. He loves to talk about cameras. I don't think you have a channel, but Roy is like this encyclopedia of camera stuff. He knows. He'll forget more than I'll ever know. Okay? That's how much he knows. So, but to start out, and this whole thing started because when I tell people what I do, they're just like, really? Like they just ran into, I don't know. I don't really watch TV, so I don't know who's famous. But anyway, like they just ran into somebody famous. I'm not famous. And this is not hard. Believe me, I have seen people do videos with nothing in the background. A lamp. Maybe. but their content, they had something to say and it was worth saying. There's a lady that I follow on Facebook who makes a video every single day. And I love her to pieces and I love her message, but the camera stops right here in every single one of her videos. And she's doing it with her phone. Obviously, she's not looking at herself and she's holding it in the same place because every single video stops. It's from here down. Yeah, you can see from about here to here. That's it. So apparently she's holding the phone in the exact same place every time. Now, I don't know if she knows that you need to hold it back just a little bit further. I'm not going to tell her because she is making a video every single day. Her message is good. Her name is Maribel Nunley, I think. And she's a hoot, right? She's just got this really messy hair and, but she has a really good message. So, I listen to her every day. Her and her husband are traveling the country, with their message. So let me get all this off here so I can get another window open. Okay, there we go. Now I can get another window open, maybe. Okay, so as some of you know, we were going to look at pictures of Turkey tonight. That didn't happen because I've had little man all week and I honestly do not get screen time when he's here. And that's fine. That's okay. Whether he remembers or not, we're making memories that I'll remember. Randy says, I'm getting rid of cameras and lenses, but the ones I use, I get a lot of ideas for a new video. Okay, well, you've got a lot of cameras to get rid of. I am so happy with my little action cameras. They just do what I want them to do. They have no zoom. I mean, well, they do. They have like a 2x. But in fact, I filmed all of Great Wolf Lodge on 2x. And so the selfie ones of me, I'm really close up. Yeah, it's a little, may have to fill those moments in with something else. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but I'd make a lot of videos for my family album that never gets aired on YouTube. It's on YouTube, but they're all unlisted because when we went to Dinosaur World, YouTube got upset with me for filming my grandson. So I don't put him up there anymore. But I do share them with my family, and because usually one or the other of them is in it. So, yeah, as soon as I came home and I saw that, because it didn't even dawn on me to look. Why did I have it set at 2x to begin with? I have absolutely no idea. But it is set back normal now. And I can't wait for the 6 to come out. It's supposed to be coming out soon. End of October, maybe? And so that is on my to-buy list for sure. I've been saving my pennies up and I will get the Osmo 6. I wasn't thrilled with the 5 until they did the firmware update. And now it's doing okay. And it does better in low light than the 4. We went to Great Wolf Lodge and the hallways, they keep them dark on purpose so that it creates this whole magical mystery thing going on. And the kids love it. But it is really too dark to film in. So I had it's probably up here somewhere on my desk, but I don't know where. Go figure. Really? It's in one of these. But I have so many. But I have a little light that attaches to the side. It just hooks on right there. And so it's not like a flashlight. It will light up, like if you're doing a selfie, it will light you up enough. But it did help with those really dark hallways. So the 4 probably would not have been as good. I did not have the camera on me at the water park. And also, in the water park, Granny's got her camera because it's waterproof. So I didn't even worry about it. I just took it everywhere we went. And so when the 6 comes out, it's definitely on my list. Royce is talking to Randy saying, how do I learn to part with old cameras? Well, Roy, this is how I did it, okay? When they flash that money in front of you, you're like, okay. I had a G7X Mark III, very, very similar to the Sony ZV-1. Almost identical in size and everything. It did have a flip up screen instead of a flip out, so I probably sold the wrong camera. But at the time, this was still my overhead camera. And I never used the G7X. And so when a lady flashed some money my way, I was like, So when you start looking at your old cameras, you might start looking at them with dollar signs instead of sentimentality. So, I can't remember now. I bought the 5 when I sold one of the camera. It may have been the G7X. I bought the 5, and best decision I ever made. No regrets. The Sony ZV-1 Mark II and the RX100 Mark VII are great, small and very portable. So the RX100 Mark VII has been on my radar for some time, but they just keep raising the price. So I think when I first started looking at it, it was $12.98, and now I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's up to $14.98. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, the I think, Randy, doesn't the RX 100 series tilt up? I think that's why it was on my radar. Carlos says, same here, Sly. Used to get caught up in multiple cameras and angles. Now is less complicated by just mastering the one. Yes. So, these are the Ozbot 4K something. I'm horrible with camera names. Tiny? No, maybe. They are tiny, but and so I tried, when I got the faster internet, I tried to stream in 4K. These cameras will not handle that. So they last for 4 or 5 minutes, and then they start glitching. So I reduced it back down to 1440, I think, and now it seems to be doing just fine. Randy says 11 cameras for 4 studios: Sony, Panasonic, Nikon, and Canon. So don't get me wrong, because I need to quit playing with that because it's clicking. Canon does the same thing with their naming of cameras, and I don't get it. But I do know more about the Canon only because I'm in the Canon ecosystem somewhat. Now I'm in the M system, which they don't make anymore. I don't know why, because I absolutely adore my cameras. And now these I won't sell. So Roy, sometimes if you have a favorite, you won't sell it. As far as a camera goes, for still photography, okay, this beats this hands down. So I will never sell these, but if you drop this, especially if you drop it in a pond or a river or a lake, it's toast. You might as well say bye-bye. It's not coming back from that. But as far as for in-house studio work and taking still pictures, these are the bomb diggity, and they are small. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think I recorded Dinosaur World with an M6. I think that's when I had just gotten them. They are noticeably heavier than the Osmo Action. It did, I think it did a fine job, but you do have the ability to change the lens. So if that's, if you're wanting to get like put a zoom lens on here, you can. But for me, these are studio cameras, and which is fine. This little camera here, this little M200, I love this thing. But the menu, it's so hard to get to the menu. They don't want you to get to the menu. This is not for a professional photographer that wants to shoot in manual. It gives you two choices: photo, video. That's it. There is no, like on the top of the M6, you have all these cute little settings up here on your dial, where you can change your settings and everything. Manual, aperture priority, all these cute little things. On the top of this one, you have nothing. That's it. Are you taking video? You're taking pictures. That's it. And it'll ask you on the touchscreen, audio or video or picture mode. And so they really don't want you to get into the menu. I think it took me like 3 days. I'm almost embarrassed to say it. But I think it took me a long time to figure out how to get into the menu to change things. That's not what Canon wanted. That's not why they made this. They made this for the vacationer that just wants to go and have basically a step above a point and shoot. You want to feel like you're a photographer because you can change the lenses. But you don't really want to know anything about settings. You just want to be able to change lenses and then just take off and run with it. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that are like that. And I don't know why Canon quit making them, because these little M cameras are the bomb diggity. Love, love, love them. Don't like the R series. Yeah. But that's for another discussion. Roy says, I've always been too well paid so that I haven't needed to sell old gear. So for me, it wasn't about needing the money. It was, I've got these, like I had the 80D and the 90D, and I hadn't turned them on in over a year. So it wasn't that I needed the money, but why am I holding on to these? The G7X, same thing. I hadn't used it in over a year, and I guess that's kind of my thing, is I wanted to sell it before it got too old, to where it wasn't worth anything. Now that cameras have gone ridiculous, I might sell this little guy. If I need a point and shoot, I can borrow my son's. I can't imagine ever needing one, because my action cameras do everything I want them to do. The only thing they don't do is zoom. So you just have to get closer. That's easy enough. Randy says, yes, Sony A6100 RX100s have tilty screens. Yes. Did they stop with the 6100? Because I know they don't make them anymore. I know, excuse me, my nose itches. I know they don't make the flip ups anymore, except there's a couple of action cameras out there that do. I think it's the Insta 360. It's not the RS. It's the little Go thing. It's not a 360 camera, but it's made by Insta 360. But it's a little Go thing, and you put it in a housing, and the housing has a flip up screen. So go figure. Roy says, the only reason I stick to Nikon is because I know them better. Somebody said you can't find a bad camera made after 2016 or something like that. And I kind of have to agree with that. They all take really, really good pictures. They all do pretty well on video. I think, in my mind, and Roy, you might correct me, But I think Nikon is more geared toward the photographer, where Sony is more geared toward the videographer. That's how I've compartmentalized them in my mind. I could be completely wrong. Hey, Jeff made it in. Good day, Sly and all. Hope you all had a great weekend. I will just watch the live stream while working on my slideshow for our son's upcoming wedding on Friday. Yes, congratulations. Jeff's son is getting married on Friday. Today's Tuesday, so 3 days away. And, well, actually, for him, it's already Wednesday. So he's getting married in 2 days. So you better hurry up with that slideshow, buddy. But congratulations, Jeff. We will, when things slow down a little bit, we will do the turkey slideshow, I promise. Roy says, by the time I eventually considered selling, it was so late the gear wasn't worth very much. Yeah, there is that. Which, honestly, though, my 80D still brought a fair price. I think it brought almost what I paid for it. And then I know that I sold the 90D for what I paid for it. So, and then I just turned around and bought other gear. So, in fact, I think when I sold one of them, I bought the mic 2, which I don't have up here right now. I don't know where it is. But it's basically the same form factor as the original. So, it's bigger. But it had internal recording, and I've gotten to where I just don't use the bigger ones anymore. So, Randy says, I trade up to newer cameras, get some great deals. Yeah. So, I usually get pretty good deals. The Action 5. So, it's kind of a spoiler alert for anybody that's into action cameras. When you buy a new DJI camera for the first time, you have to download the Mimo app, or it will only give you, I think it's either 5 or 10-second recordings, and then it shuts itself off. So it doesn't matter what DJI I get, because I've already got the Mimo app installed on my phone. So it'll just turn on and start working. But I got this one because a guy had bought it, recorded a few 10-second videos, which were hilarious, and returned it because he couldn't get it to work. Because he didn't apparently install the Mimo app on his phone. And so each little clip, he was getting more and more and more frustrated. I'm surprised he didn't throw the camera across the parking lot. Because he kept turning it on. He'd record for, I think it's 10 seconds. And then the camera would shut off. And then when he'd come back on, he'd be like, why isn't this thing working? It was kind of humorous to watch. But so long story short, I picked this up for about $300. Now, it was missing some of the mounts that DJI comes with. All these action cameras come with a 100 mounts you'll never use. And it was missing some of those. And I believe it was missing the selfie stick, which they are about, I think they're about $40. So I did have to buy a selfie stick, but, so $340 for an Action 5. I thought that was a pretty good deal. But yes, I do try to find good deals. And like, I will buy the Osmo Action 6 when it comes out, but I won't jump on the Mic 3 just because they've come out with the Mic 3 when my Mic Mini works perfectly good to me. So I'm kind of picky about what I pick and choose. Ace, oh, did I miss one? Yes. Aha. Roy says, I did manage to part with my Phase 1 back lately. One back lately. See, it's really simple, Roy. If you walk around your studio and you go, oh, there's $600. Ooh, there's $200. Ooh, then, you know, it just, and then you start thinking, what new goodies could I buy? Because I always try to trade, like, okay, I've already taken the hit on this. So if I sell this, can I buy this type thing? Okay, so Randy says the Sony A6000 series have the tilty screens, except for the A67. I was thinking the A64 had the tilty screen. Most people get a new camera before they have learned to use the old one. I did manage to part with my Phase 1 back lately. Okay. This is true. I sold the G7X Mark III to a lady that didn't even want me to show her how to turn it on. But it's all the latest rage to say you have one. There is no rage that says I know how to use it. It's just that I have one. So that camera sold in 2 hours, I think. So it was probably priced way too low. Carlos says, been using that M6 Mark II for my dedicated stills using the manual Mikey 35 1.7 and the 50 meter 0.95, getting amazing shots with this camera. It is. I mean, it's 32 megapixels. I have the Mikey, and I call it Mikey. I think they call it Makey. Anyway, I have the Mikey 35. I think it's a 1.4, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost sure. I'm not really 100% sure where it is. It's up there somewhere. But I think it's a 1.4. But I get the shots that I took of my friend in Las Vegas were unbelievably crisp. Randy did a photo shoot with, and I can't remember what camera it was now. And it blew my mind how sharp and clean the pictures looked. And I'm just like, okay, that is saying something. And Randy, I don't remember which camera it was now. I'm sorry. But it was enough of a difference that it made me sit up and go, wow, that's really impressive. Randy says the Nikon D610 and DF are classics. Deciding about the D850, probably just keep the Z8 and use the F to Z adapter to use the DSLR lenses on the newer Z cameras. Well, and that is something. There are adapters, like I have the M2 EF, which the EF and the EFS are the same bayonet thing. And I have, I think, like 3 adapters for that go, we have a visitor. Hi. He's been my little buddy for the last week or so. You ready to go to bed? What do you need?
I was just checking if you were okay.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to be a guest for every...
Okay. Oh, you want to sit up here? Okay. Well, we have a guest tonight. An unexpected guest. So Randy's here and Roy from Australia. Roy always has the little kangaroo after his comment. Okay, because he's from Australia. Oh, we have another guest. We're having a party.
Figure why not?
Yeah.
It's my Uncle G.
Yep, there's Uncle G. This is Haas.
Did you attach a level to your camera?
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
I'm
just about done. They have been playing Hot Wheels, I think.
And Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart, now Sonic.
Oh, okay. And Nintendo Switch. Yes. Okay, so I completely lost track of where I was. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Randy's... Okay, so yeah, we were talking about the adapters. It takes me a minute. The D500 is a great camera also. So I think, aren't the Nikon D series like the older cameras? Because I knew a guy who was starting a channel, and he was telling me he had one of the Nikon D series and was worried about the quality of the video. And they looked absolutely fine. They weren't as sharp as what they maybe could have been, but I don't think that was the camera's fault. I think that was the lens they were using. So people, if they get a bad picture, it's the camera's fault. It's always the camera's fault. It's never the lens's fault. I had 2 old lenses, and when I say old, you know, Roy, you're not gonna think this is old, but I had 2 lenses from the 90s, like early 90s, and they had gotten soft. And so when you compared them with one of the newer lenses, the pictures they were taking, everything was not sharp. It was just kind of soft. And Mr. Camera Junkie suggested I set them outside in the sunlight. And by golly, it worked. I set them out there for like 2 or 3 hours, forgot about them kind of, and brought them inside and tried them out, and the soft was gone. So it's kind of like comparing pastel to a jewel tone. I mean, it's still pink, but it should be red or burgundy. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of soft. I don't know how else to describe it. The D500 is a great camera. Royce says, I've donated more gear to camera schools than I've sold. That I believe. And it actually, if I could find a photography student, I would love to donate some gear, or a videographer that, you know, somebody that was just starting out. There's a lot of people that believe XLR microphones sound so much better. They can have them. I've got so many of them because I kind of went on a thing where I couldn't get the sound that I wanted. And I tried so many different microphones. And so I have a lot of them. And all the XLR cables and all that stuff. Randy says, I've done computers and cameras plus lenses given away to family and friends. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind giving stuff away if I know the person is going to use it and get some value out of it. If they just say they just want to have a camera to have a camera, yeah, I'm probably not going to give it to you. But, you know. I gave a computer to a neighbor's kid, but he didn't take care of it. Also to a women's shelter. Yeah, that kind of, I hate to put stipulations on, you know, when I give stuff away, because I don't think you're really supposed to do that, but it's hard not to. So I sold my 80D to a guy in his 70s that was just getting into photography. He had just retired and he wanted to make photography his hobby, and he'd never had a camera before, and he was thrilled. So he paid what I was asking. But when I found out his story, I threw in a tripod, a flash, a memory card to get him started, and I think I threw in an extra lens. So he was thrilled, absolutely tickled to death. Randy says he's growing up fast. Yeah, tell me about it. I can't carry him anymore. He's 50 pounds, and he's so, it's not that I can't carry 50 pounds, but he's so tall that if I try to carry him, he's well over half my body height. So it's very, very awkward. Roy says, I did sell one of my D50 850 bodies. The last one is going to be buried with me. Okay. Well, guys, I guess that's the end of our show. Jeff says, I do not like to... Hang on just a minute. I do not like to buy any camera that you're forced to use their app. If the DJI is making you use the app, then for me, I would not buy one. I will stick to my old GoPro. Hello. Yeah. Oh, he's Jeff saying hello to you. So before I ever bought a DJI, I looked at both of them and the Insta360.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, GoPro made you buy a 1-year subscription to something. I don't even remember what it was. This was like 2019, maybe 2019, 20 something, 5 or 6 years ago. So anyway, with that, guys, I will say goodnight to everybody. I'm losing my voice anyway, so it's all good. Somebody I think is ready for bed. Are you ready for bed? Have you read your stories?
No, but I'm not ready for bed, and I want to play that card game.
Oh, yeah. See,
Please.
Randy's saying goodbye, everyone. Have a great week. Cheers. Yep. I will see you guys next week. Next Tuesday, we'll be back to our normal. He's going home. When are you going home? Tomorrow afternoon? He's going home tomorrow evening. So I will see everybody next week. Again, happiest of birthday to Peter. And thank you guys so much for joining me. And we'll see everybody next week. Good night.